Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. We are officially done with our language arts curriculum, so I wanted to get on here and just give you guys an open and honest review from our perspective about the curriculum that we are using. So here it is. It is MasterBooks Language Lessons for Living Education, Level 2. If you're interested, hang out with me. Thank you all again for joining and hitting play. If this is your first time here, I welcome you with open arms. I hope that you and I are able to connect on a greater level and that you enjoy everything that you see here. And please do not be afraid to interact with me. I love the interaction. If you've been here before, thank you for showing up again and hitting play. Go ahead, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel so that you can see all of the videos, get notification of everything, and we can just grow and take this journey together. We have finished our language arts curriculum about a week and a half ago, and I wanted to just take some time to really let it sink in and think about what I consider to be pros and cons, maybe not so much cons, but things that I maybe would want differently out of the curriculum, as well as just some information that I feel like if you are considering this curriculum, what you need to know. So the first thing, if you're already here watching this video, you probably already know this, but I'm going to share it anyway. MasterBooks is a faith-based or Christian curriculum. So if you are looking for a secular language arts curriculum, this is not the video for you. Although I'm glad you showed up, you may want to stop now. But it is a faith-based curriculum. The second thing that you should know is that if you are purchasing MasterBooks curriculum, you can buy, it includes Amazon, Mardel's, any Christian homeschool stores, and you can also buy it on the MasterBooks website. If you are like me, you bargain shop. You want to see where you can get the best deal, what's on sale, and everything. I have noticed that Amazon, Mardel's, they do not have better sale prices than the actual MasterBooks website. And I know that sounds so foreign because I am a diehard Amazon shopper, but the sales that MasterBooks has when they have this curriculum available cannot be beat. So before you purchase the curriculum, make sure that you browse around to all of those sites so that you do not miss getting this for the cheapest price, which it's really not that expensive compared to tons of other curriculums. So that is another tip for you. The next thing is you can earn rewards points. For me, anytime I can get rewards points or any type of benefit for purchasing or using something, I'm all for it. MasterBooks has a rewards program. Every 100 points is equal to $1, something like that. Right now I have like 867 points, which is equivalent to $8, almost $9, and I'm totally fine with that. But a part of the program, the way you can get points is by making your purchases, by referring a friend and their purchases, and also by doing reviews. So go check out their website if you're interested. You have to set up an account and be signed into your account in order to get credit for your purchases or if you refer someone. But make sure that you are part of that, because if you find that you really like this curriculum and you are there for years to come, those points will add up, and that is a huge benefit to your homeschool budget. Remember that. The next thing that you need to know is it is a benefit for you to join their email list. I talked about the sales just a moment ago. If you are part of their email list, you will get these emails where they have these flash sales. Not all the time do they have everything that you may be looking for, but there have been several times that they have had the curriculums that I was looking for and I missed the flash sale. They usually come out with this email about 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is where I live, my time zone. And by the time I would get to the email around 10 or 11 o'clock during the day, the curriculums would be sold out. But they do have flash sales, so remember to join the email list so that you can get notifications about those sales. All right, now I'm gonna hop into what I consider to be pros and cons. And you want to stick around because I'm also going to do a flip through at the end of the video. I'm gonna start with cons, and it was a struggle for me to really come up with what I felt like were cons or things that I would change because they weren't deal breakers for us. However, it would have been nice for them to be a little bit different. So let's start with the cons. The first thing is that this level started out a little below my child's grade level. So I'll say it seemed really easy. And when I say really easy, level 2, which is equivalent to second grade, the first few lessons were like, do you remember the days of the week, months of the year? Can you say your alphabet? Can you tell the sound of each letter? That type of easy. But because I had already flipped through the book, I knew that the level of difficulty increased with the lessons. Could my child have started with level 3 this school year? Absolutely. She totally could have and would have done amazing. But we stuck with it because I liked the curriculum. It was not a deal breaker because it increased in level of difficulty, and it was a way for us to just kind of ease into a new curriculum. The next thing, which it may be a pro or con depending on you, it's all personal preference, but this curriculum, when we talk about a mastery versus a spiral approach, it is more of a mastery approach. Even so, it's not even a traditional mastery approach. It is really a Charlotte Mason type of learning. If you are not familiar with what Charlotte Mason learning is, it is bringing everything to life. It is living education, which hence the name living education. But it brings everything to life and it applies it to your child's real life so that they are able to relate and understand, and their imagination goes into places to bring it to life. So depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for a mastery curriculum or a spiral, this is not a spiral curriculum. It does do reviews, but it is not a review every day of what they learned the previous day. If you know your child's learning style and you feel as if they need a spiral approach, this may not be the curriculum for you. If your child is able to do the mastery approach, this will work out. However, if your child is in love with bringing things to life and applying it to their everyday lives, this is most definitely the curriculum for you. I enjoyed the mastery approach combined with the Charlotte Mason approach as well. We were able to bring it all to life. The Bible lessons in there, my girls had tons of questions about that. That was a good thing for us. So depending on who you are, that may be a pro or it may be a con. I don't know. Another thing that may be a con for people is that it can get repetitive. Each week there is a lesson. There is one exercise per day for a total of 5 days for the week. The first exercise in that lesson is usually reading a psalm from the Bible or some form of a poem or a picture study with questions. Days 2 and 3 hop into grammar and punctuation, whatever they may be studying, nouns, adverbs, whatever it may be. Day number 4 goes into a storytelling where your child recalls a story in their life related to that week's lesson, and then they draw a picture, write sentences about it, and they talk to you about it as their parent. Day number 5 is always spelling and vocabulary words. So whether they are putting together their own word search or decoding or unscrambling the letters for the word, there are various options for that, but it's always vocabulary and spelling. Some people may not like that repetition. They may feel that they want it to change up all the time and have some form of a surprise. We were completely fine with it being, quote, repetitive, but when I do the flip through, I will show you how each lesson is different but the same, if that makes any sense. The third thing that people may feel is a con, and I felt like it was, but not a deal breaker, is the vocabulary. You get vocabulary on exercise 5 of every lesson, which is day number 5. My issue with that is typically when you would do vocabulary, you may give vocabulary words to your child on a Friday, and then that next Friday they would have their vocabulary test, or even on a Monday, and then Friday they'd have their test. Well, if we're only introduced to the vocabulary words on that Friday and they have to take the test on that same Friday, when do they have an opportunity to study the vocabulary words? I didn't like that. What we did, I had to look ahead for the next week, and I would give the girls the vocabulary lessons or their vocabulary words on either the Friday before or that Monday, and they would have 5 to 7 days to study those words, put them in sentences, spell them, everything that they needed to do before they took their test on Friday. That was an adjustment that we had to make. As I said before, it was not a deal breaker, but I definitely would have liked to have received the vocabulary words at the beginning of the lesson in preparation for the test on Friday. All right, that's all my cons. That's it. I didn't have any more. So now I'm going to move on to the pros. Pro number one is that this curriculum is an open and go complete school year curriculum. There are 36 lessons, 5 exercises per lesson, which takes you through the entire school year, depending on how fast or how slow your child moves throughout the curriculum, how many breaks you take, whatever it may be. But that is the gist of the curriculum. There is zero preparation that needs to be done. You simply open it up, sit down with your child, and get started. That, for this mama, is a major high five. Another pro for our household is that it is a Bible Christian-based curriculum. So my children are getting Bible every single day in their curriculum. By reading scripture, memorizing scripture, there is scripture applied into their grammar and punctuation work, spelling words. It's all around. And I love that because it ingrains that in them and it helps them as they get older. It just becomes a part of their regular learning. Another pro that I found is that the lessons are short, you guys. Anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, maybe 25, depending on your child and how they are able to focus. But typically we did not spend more than 15 minutes on one lesson, which is great because who wants to sit down for forever, 45 minutes working on one lesson? We don't want to do it. We don't have time to do it. And you probably don't either. What it does is it gets right down to the point of what your child needs to learn. It goes through sentences and works with them. If you feel as if your child needs more help, you can always add that on because you still have time. It's not that it takes you 45 minutes to do the lesson and at the end of that 45 minutes, your child still is needing more reinforcement. With the lessons being that short, it is amazing. You can add on a little bit more if you feel like your child doesn't get it or if they just need a little bit more practice just for fun. There is room to be able to do that with the time schedule. And with that, you could do more than one lesson a day, which is how we ended up finishing our curriculum early, is because there were days where my daughters would do 3 lessons, exercise 1 through 3, and then they'd go the next day and they would do exercise 4 and 5. So that's just 2 days. So we got pretty far ahead with doing that because the lessons were so short and concise to the point. It was a benefit to us in doing that. The last pro for this mom, because I am a creature of habit, I did not mind the repetitive nature of the lessons. When I say repetitive, it's not the same exact thing, but you know, as I walk through each day, you know that they're going to do a psalm or a picture study on exercise number 1, and that it will be grammar and punctuation and sentence structure, exercises 2 and 3. You know that that's what's going to happen. So when I know that, okay, today is Thursday and they are on exercise number 4, I know exactly what they're doing. I don't have to open the book and look at it ahead of time. I know what's about to happen. For me, that was great. And my girls didn't mind it either because my daughter knew, oh wait, I'm on day 4. I need to grab this material and be ready to do this. It helped with them knowing what they were about to do in preparation, so their mind is prepared. So they're ready to go. Okay, so those are my pros and cons for the curriculum. If you didn't get all of that, go back, hit the rewind button, whatever it is. Go back and write them down. I encourage you to go and look at these books in the store. I'm about to do a flip through, so you'll get an opportunity to see it, but I like to have my hands on it and flip through it and look at several lessons and just kind of compare and think about where my child is in their learning and is this curriculum really suitable for them. I like that we're able to do that for a lot of the curriculum that we are choosing and looking at, but some you can't, unfortunately. So you depend on videos like this. So I want to be as thorough as I possibly can for you guys. Hang in there. I'm about to do a flip through just for you guys. All right, guys, don't mind my ring light, but here is level 2. It starts out in the front of the book, it gives you scope and sequence for that for each lesson, and it talks about what it's covering. So example, lesson number 36, you have synonyms, antonyms, it's a review, homonyms, homophones, envelopes, and number words. Then it goes through the course description and the amount of time that it may take your child and what's here. Note from the author about the course, and it talks about the days and what you would expect for each day of the week in the lessons. And then here's teaching helps. This helps you as the teacher for your child to understand how to be able to use each section and maximize what they are learning. Same thing here. Then you have your first semester. This is a suggested schedule. Week 1 or lesson 1, days 1 through 5. And I just put the date that they completed it and then a check mark, and the grade, my girls always just get it correct. That's about as far as I go as grading with them. And it has second semester as well. I forgot to fill all this in, but I'll get to it. Here is an example of week number 1 or lesson number 1, exercise 1. What you see here in the yellow is what your child is supposed to read, and then you will read everything in the black. We started out doing this for my second grader, and it worked great. There are questions here, and they work on narration practice, so they are able to answer all these questions, which is great for their reading and comprehension, and being able to understand what they are reading. Exercise 1, this is where it started out really simple. It talked about the alphabet, things like that. Days 2 and 3, which are exercise 2 and 3 for that lesson week. There's always some type of grammar practice. Here is capitalization and punctuation. And then exercise 4, they tell a story and they draw a picture. This is my girl's picture. She loves her friend Claire. I'm not really sure what they were talking about here, but that's what this is. And then they always get an opportunity to write more sentences, tell more about their story, things like that. Day 5. Vocabulary words or spelling words here, using them in a way. And then here is where you would do the tests. There are always optional activities. You can create your own dictionary, and I'll show you guys what that is in the back. And then there's optional activities for you to do your spelling test. Not every week do you have to do a spelling test. Majority of them you do. There's always a spot for a teacher's note. This one says, see instruction for dictionary in the front of the book. So if I go to the front of the book where we talked about teaching helps, there is a section about creating your own dictionary. And what this is helping your child to be able to understand those words and know how to spell them. If for some reason my daughter did not know what a ram was, we would add that to our created dictionary. Let me show you real quick since I'm talking about the dictionary here so that it doesn't get confusing. Here is the dictionary, or excuse me, here are the dictionary sheets. She would put the word ram here, maybe put a sentence, she would draw a picture, and she would write the letter that it starts with, which is an R. We would cut these out and staple them on the corner or down the side, however, and this will become her dictionary. So that is what that's for, which is pretty awesome. It helps them to be able to get the words solidified better. Okay. So that was week number 1. Here's an example of other vocabulary words and them creating a word search on their own. I'm going a little bit backwards, but I want you guys to see this one here is also narration practice. Let me find another page. Here, they are reading a psalm, doing comprehension, answering questions. That is what those lessons go through. I believe there is another one. Same thing, narration practice. So majority of hers are narration practice. And I will also do a flip through of the level 4 because we have that one. The psalm. And then in this, there are times where she has to create her own psalm, write a poem. And sorry about that. And she wrote a poem here as a part of her curriculum. All right, guys, I'm going to flip through this and let you guys just look at it. There are also these just for fun sections where your child can do things. This one says, how many books do you see here? Write the number and the word below the picture. She wrote 19, she counted 19, she spelled out the word 19. It helps to reinforce that she was learning how to spell the numbers all the way up to 20. As you can see, the further along we get into the lessons, the more yellow there is. However, we switched about halfway through and she started reading all the black and I only read the yellow. The last 3 lessons, I believe, so lessons 33 or 34 through 36, I did not read any of this. There were several days that I didn't read any of it, but specifically those, I did not touch it at all. It was all her. She read the entire thing. She read the questions and answered them, and I just sat and listened. So I like that it was progressive in that nature to be able to help my daughter with more independent reading, which they read books all the time. However, I feel that reading Bible lessons and Bible stories for children can somewhat be a little intimidating. So the fact that she was able to read all of those on her own was a huge plus, and we just progressed through that slowly. Now we are to the teacher's aids, and it tells you how to use this section and what everything is and for what. I like this section of it. There are lots of things for you to be able to use for your child. This is grading options here, which I did not use. First semester assessment chart. So how did your child do? Did they master this skill? Do they need more experience? And this is where you can put in additional supplemental work to help solidify the subject matter for your child. I did not use that, as you can see. This is the review. So there are reviews for lessons 1 through 9, lessons 10 through 18, 19 through 27, and 28 through 36. It will tell you as you're going through the book here to now complete the review on page 394. So your child and you, if you're following along with them, will know when to come back to this part of the book to do the review section. I like that there's a recommended reading list, and it gives it for all ages, even in this level 2 book. There's early learner board books, early learner books for grades K through 3, books for grades 4 through 6, and books for grades 7 through 8. Here's the create your own dictionary section that I showed you guys earlier. There are activities and games for the spelling. You can add these on to help reinforce the spelling and language arts. In all honesty, we did not use any of them, but that may be something that I incorporate later on as we're going through the summer. But they have lots of games, lots of things to do for spelling practice, suggestions for you to do that. And here we go into copy work. Copying, alphabet, parts of speech, practice on your vowels, what these mean. So plural means more than one. Giving the meaning, this will help to reinforce those topics so that they understand what they mean and aren't just going through practicing them, not really knowing. We did not use these at all. Calendar study sheets, if your child does not know that, titles practice. And then you go into the grammar study sheets where it does definitions of what the things are. Plural noun, pronoun, proper noun. Talks about all those homophones, using the words to, and to, synonyms. It has all of that here. We did refer to this. If my daughter was having a hard time understanding, I would always refer her to the back of the book. I believe that if your child looks up something, they are more likely to retain that information than if we are just telling them every time. And that is a big reason why we did not use the copywork sheets, because I would refer them to this and they would remember. And after that, you then have your answer keys to check your work. All right, guys, that is it. My overall review for MasterBooks is that we really enjoyed it. I talked to you about the pros and the cons. Whether or not we're going to use it next year, you'll have to stick around and look out for more curriculum videos. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. If you've used MasterBooks, I'd love to know what your thoughts are about the curriculum. Is it something that you're interested in? You've already been using it and love it, or you're changing your mind? I want to know where you are. Comment down below, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video if this is the type of content you would like to see, share it with all of your friends, and don't forget to click that bell, you guys, so that you never miss another video again. And I will see you guys right back here at the Life of Tillmans for another video next time. Bye.